I've got the nice easy part right now. So next session, I'd like to introduce to you Jyothi Hartley. Jyothi used to be Senior Vice President of Procurement at one of our clients, so that's how we know her. More recently, she's taken a more solo flight. I hope I'm not telling too much of your own story. But there's a lot of that which has been of interest to us because quite a few clients ask about change management, or they want to know how to engage before they're ready to pick a system. And so ideally, we want people that know us and know systems to go and do that piece of work alongside us. More of a service advisory piece. But anyway, if that's your 30 minutes of slides done in 30 seconds, I've killed it, sorry. But in the meantime, thank you. Welcome, Jyothi.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Oh, I need to move this down. I'm not quite as tall as Pete. All right. Okay. So, as Pete's already mentioned, I'm familiar to some of the people in this room, and I'm getting to know some more of you, which is great. So who am I? So I've spent about 25 years, maybe a little bit more. I know, I look young, don't I? In procurement and supply chain, working from a client perspective on a number of things, but I seem to have landed most of the time in implementing S2P, S2C, P2P software over the course of my career, and it's a good job that I love it. It's actually quite helpful. Technology and procurement, marrying the two things has been a great benefit that I happen to have enjoyed over a number of different industries, a number of different companies, and a number of different softwares. But I tend to find that when it comes to the business function perspective, there's some common threads. Now, Yakov mentioned them just in the other room just there about taking people on a journey. So what you're going to hear from me really is more about how it's more of a contract management through a digital lens, a digitally enabled lens, and what I wish software companies had asked me 25 years ago and even still today. So I've kind of done that sort of piece for them. So here goes. What is contract management? Anyone recognize? Oh, no, that's not the right one. Okay, what is contract management? Anyone recognize this? Let's have a show of hands. Who thinks that's what this is? No hands. Great, good. It's not this. It definitely is not this. It should be the contract life cycle management, start, middle, end. Creation, management, operationalization, really difficult word to say. Especially maybe later on, I'll challenge you all later to say that word after you've had a drink or two. But being able to just manage that contract, and then also at the end of that life cycle with that supplier contract, what do you do with them? So for me, contract management is the whole end-to-end in a workflow, process steps in one platform. That's the dream, right, Yakov? It's the dream. It's the ideal dream, yeah. All right, so why do you need to do this? Why would anybody embark on going through digitally enabling contract management? Well, surely we all want our contracts in a safe, secure place, one single repository, searchable, manageable. You want this into one platform. You don't want them in people's drawers. Everywhere I have worked, I have found that most of the contracts that are even in date are in someone's drawers or on the floor in someone's office, if there are any at all. So we want them in one place. You want to be able to manage the key terms and clauses in these contracts. So, for example, where are your risks? Where are your key commercial terms? Are you committed to volumes? Are you committed to values in any particular way? Can you move away from that supplier when the new shiny object comes along? It's usually locked away in a contract somewhere. You want the visibility as well. You want to know who your commitments are with. You want to know who you're spending your money with. Yes, you can look at invoices, but you also really ought to be looking at where your contracts, your supplier contracts are as well. I think for me, it's been an embarrassment in my own personal career where I've had to sort of say to the suppliers, Do we have a contract with you? And if so, can you share it with me, please? Yes, I'm seeing some nodding of heads here. Thank you. I'm glad, I feel better now. It's not just me. But you want to be able to manage your renewals. Again, if you want to upscale, upgrade, uplift your procurement team, and you want to be doing more strategic procurement, can you get out of those contracts that you're in with suppliers at the minute? You need to check your clauses. You want to be able to do contract signatures. A few people have mentioned that today, actually, or earlier on, through DocuSign, Adobe Sign, and so on. Keep it all in the same platform. Don't need to print it and email it. Let's move away from that. You also want to be able to do things like strategic supplier relationship management. The contract management, digitally enabled, enables that to happen. Like I say, you've got the visibility of where your commitments are, so you can really bubble up to the surface where your strategic supply partners are. They're the ones that are going to help you in your growth targets, your ambitions, and your delivery. And you want to be able to have ease of access. So, for example, businesses change, the world changes. Some of your standard clauses that your legal teams will be insisting that you use, if you want to change those in the system, how easy would it be, how wonderful would it be to be able to just replace all with the new clause or the new term? And also to be able to give people the ability to update the contract yourselves rather than wait for legal, who will get to your contract eventually at some point in the future, probably 2025 or whenever. From a transactional perspective as well, you want to be able to access the content that's in your contract. What do I mean by that? Well, contracts have price lists usually, deals, and they have items, volumes maybe, prices, and maybe some other key terms and conditions. Well, straight away you've got a catalogue there, and you've got an ability to enhance your user experience by putting that contract, that price file, in as a catalogue. And some of you have mentioned before, and you know, I've seen some nodding heads earlier on, about user experience is really important to get the user adoption to make that change. So to Pete's point, how are you going to get that change management? Make it easy for them. Okay, so who's going to do this stuff? Well, it's not one person, not just one person's effort to be able to do this. It's going to take a team. It's going to take a team effort. And ideally, it's a cross-functional team. So in my experience, it's creating that cross-functional team with clear roles and responsibilities, not just procurement. Some businesses don't have procurement functions, but you'll probably want to make up your team of all these people, actually. You really need input from everybody. Create that buzz. You want that friendly intermediary, your systems integrator, your systems implementation partner. Thankfully, I've worked with Pete and Karen in this room, helping me and guiding me on my journey in my previous role. Lean on them is what I would recommend. I've certainly personally benefited from just being able to ask the questions, challenge them as well, and learn from the best practices. And sometimes it's a hard lesson learned, but it's valuable. And listen to their steer, because they've probably worked on a number of different implementations across a number of different customers, but end to end, it's largely the same. The functional buyers over here, they're the ones that, when the project is closed and when whoever it is that's been drafted in goes away again, they're the ones that are going to have to do this day in, day out, business as usual. Involve them at the beginning. I was one of those people, and I really benefited and valued being asked to be involved, being asked to be part of the design phase and the testing phase, and then also be part of the enhancements and the upgrades, etc. And it made me feel like I had a part to play in all of this. So they are a really important part of the team. And Similarly, the approvers. So, for example, in your organisations, you may have compliance that need to approve a contract. Finance might need to approve a contract. I'll come to legal in a minute. There may be other functional approvers. They might be director levels, or there might be certain thresholds that you need to have other people come in and approve. We'll get them involved so they know that the change is coming up front, and give them a role in the system. Get them to test as well, and get them to be your communications channel. So it's the same for legal. Legal has a slightly different role to play as well. So not only are they usually approvers, you need their input. You need their standard clauses. They'll help you with your clause libraries, updating forms, for example. So again, in my experience, get them involved in the design and the testing, and they can be your real advocates as well. And IT, well, you kind of need them if the system goes down, or if you have any issues. And oftentimes, when it comes to IT category spend, they're probably approvers as well, certainly for CapEx and significantly large projects. So you do need a lot of people on your team. How? Now then, this is the clever bit. We all talk about a business case. Well, it's really important to clearly articulate what the problem statement is in the business case. And for me, it's really important to get the alignment from all the people that are going to approve the business case to agree that that is the problem that you're trying to solve for. And use that as a baseline to measure success. We'll come back to that in just a second. Exec sponsorship won't get off the ground unless you've got that. But it doesn't just start and end at the beginning where they sign off a business case. You need the executive to be your advocates all the time. It's how you measure success. So they will need to talk about your project, talk about the wins, talk about the benefits, right the way throughout. You need a cross-functional team. I've just talked about that. I won't go back over that again, but that's one of your success measures. And if somebody leaves, make sure that that role is filled again within the team. Yeah, again, you need them. And also I would involve your SI, your systems implementation partner, and your software provider. It's a community of people. They're all invested, and if they're not, they should be. An action plan. Create a milestone action plan. Everyone loves a plan, don't we? We like to see what gets measured, it gets done, and what gets written gets measured. A plan is a great way of saying, this is where we started and this is where we've gone to, and you can look back on that. And also it gives you a mechanism to report progress back on to the wider business on how you've improved your contract uploads or your number of users that are using the contract module, and so on. And focus on the wins. Unlike Yakov, I appreciated start small, prove the concept, and then roll out versus Big Bang. I've never personally found success with Big Bang, but no, Yakov's been talking about that, so I might try that approach next. Watch this space. Yeah, I think it depends on your business. Some businesses are a bit more risk averse and a bit more cautious, so start small, celebrate the wins. And communicate. So I talked about the executive. They are your biggest advocates. They may not be anything to do with procurement. They may not be your head of function, but they can be your champions. They can be your advocates for you. And use every opportunity to communicate. Use all the channels. It helps elevate the procurement function from being transactional to more strategic and a business advisor. Okay, I've talked a lot about success measures. So really, the title of this was what I wished, or subtitle is what I wish software companies would have asked me. And that's very much are you ready for success? Ask me all the questions that I need to answer. Have I got people prepared and ready to do these new roles? Have I got an infrastructure to do things like who's going to answer tickets or queries or requests? Who's going to upload certain contracts? You know, It's really, really important to think about that in the first place. And there may be a lot of questions to answer at the beginning, but they are your regular touch points as to how successful this project actually is going to be for you. And you want a talented, motivated team. So if they're results driven, this is a very, very good way of being able to just check back on your progress. Success breeds success. So everyone wants to be part of a successful team, well, at least I hope so. So when there's opportunities to join that team, when there's talent rotation, or when somebody leaves a role, this is a winning team that people want to be part of. But also think about KPIs. Like I've just thrown up a few examples there. Think about KPIs and measures that benefit the business, the wider business, or even the customers of the business. Don't just think about the procurement KPIs, because these will resonate more with the wider business, the executives. It gives everyone talking points, that elevator pitch, that corridor conversation. So what if your invoices are being processed quicker? Well, it means that you're now a customer of choice. Suppliers want to work with you. You can have the pick of the crop, and so on and so forth. So everyone should have these little sound bites when you're thinking about KPIs and scorecards. Otherwise, it can just be a lot of numbers and it's dazzling. So again, my advice, what's worked for me, start small. Things like adoption levels, great. These will all be part of your business case, or they should be part of your business case. So it's full circle, really. Set out what you're going to measure them, and then communicate the hell out of them. And that's it, really. That's me. If you're interested in talking to me a little bit further, I will be at the drinks reception later on, and you can find me on LinkedIn. I look like that.